Project Veritas founder and chairman James O'Keefe has taken a paid leave from the conservative nonprofit media organization as its board allegedly considers whether to remove him from his leadership position, according to current and former employees of the organization who spoke with New York Magazine's Intelligencer. The conservative media company is reported to be divided between a group of employees who are loyal to O'Keefe and the board, which has been frustrated with what it perceives as O'Keefe's apparent mismanagement.
Yeah, we should probably put some color on the nature of this mismanagement.
So it was reported by New York Magazine, by the Daily Beast, by Rolling Stone, others. Obviously, I've been very critical of many of these publications, so I never take what they say without a grain of salt, but they apparently obtained this memo. I wish they had published it in full, but I believe I don't think they would lie about having a memo they don't actually have, which expresses the frustrations of employees of the company that it was an abusive environment, that there's some kind of financial mismanagement with O'Keefe spending money to produce a version of the musical Oklahoma. He likes to sing and dance. I've seen him perform. He's very talented.
This is outrageous. Here's from the Daily Beast. Apparently he's accused of overseeing a, quote, raucous, sexually charged workplace, complete with at least one drug overdose. The Project Veritas is under scrutiny for paying for the Ashley Biden diary and the journalistic integrity and perhaps even legal viability of having done so. Someone that characterized the mood at the office as saying, the meetings will continue until morale improves.
Right. Right. That's to be clear, if the Daily Beast just characterized it this way, I would not necessarily believe it. But this is directly from a memo signed by a third of the employees at Project Veritas. They are saying that his leadership is not great. And it is not uncommon to have you could have a person like James O'Keefe who's a very effective organizer or producer of video or of content, and not necessarily be a skilled manager of people. These are different skills. Sometimes an organization has, a front man who's the spokesperson for the organization, is producing all their good stuff, but you have other people in charge. It looks like he had some people who were in the managing role who I guess he'd clashed with. He had them gotten rid of, and the company has voted, the board or whoever it is, voted to reinstate those people over his objection. So
yeah, I mean, look, this stuff is wild. One employee says, there were complaints about staffers getting spat on. Saying
a little light spitting at work.
Saying there were employees said you can't spit in an employer's face over a tweet.
What? I missed that.
This is outrageous. So people were apparently being asked to take polygraphs at work, taking lie detector tests to prove.
That's to find out who's leaking information to the Daily Beast.
Well, look, I mean, I wonder what you make of this. Do you have any concern that the interest in this story, the reporting from a more left-leaning organization like New York Magazine, is because of the nature of Project Veritas and the stories they expose?
Yes, which is why I'm being very careful with this, because yes, they have it out for Project Veritas. They don't think anything Project Veritas has ever done has any value.
And for context, for people who might not know what...
Right, they've done these exposes. They do these kind of hidden camera stings on employees at hostile mainstream media companies, of some Democratic-aligned interest groups. Most recently, they did one of Pfizer, where they have someone who I ostensibly thought a Pfizer employee is on a date with someone who's working for Project Veritas. The Pfizer employee over drinks is describing some happenings at Pfizer that are of the public interest. And then this is always the issue with Project Veritas. You have to, weigh what this person said. And the person is saying stuff about Pfizer that I think is interesting and kind of alarming. He's saying that stuff going on in meetings is not necessarily what they're telling you about. Maybe some of the research being conducted is not what you know is being conducted. He talked about the incentives that Pfizer has, similar to the defense industry, to have a lobbying arm, people in and out of government working for Pfizer. We know that is the case. That's the case of Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, works for Pfizer now. So he's describing these things, but he's describing them to someone he's trying to impress on a date over drinks. So he's there under false premises, and if you're getting information out of someone under false premises, then you can't trust everything that they're saying.
Right. Is it puffery? Is he bragging? Is he showing off for his date?
Right, and I've been critical sometimes of how Project Veritas explain, like not necessarily releasing all the video at once or the context, or it comes out over several days, and then you, like at first people were like, is this guy, how do we even know he's a Pfizer employee? And then they were later producing documentation to prove that. People think, now, people get mad at me for being so scrutinizing of them, but I'm not saying they have no value or they've never produced anything interesting. I think they've done a lot of interesting work. Probably with some slightly better management and editorial standards, they could do fantastic work.
Well, it seems like they might be getting that if the employees have their way and manage to push out O'Keefe, who is apparently using their resources to fund field trips to seeing in Oklahoma, while at the same time denying what apparently there's a woman who wanted to donate $75,000. All she wanted in return was a picture with O'Keefe, and he blew her off. That request was too high a bar, apparently. So you can definitely see, at least from this article, who knows if it's exaggerated or overly colorful, but you can definitely see why there is an interest in.
If you out there think I'm being too mean to O'Keefe, just recall that we do segment after segment about the hostile work environment at CNN. We've done like 2 segments lately about Don Lemon mistreating colleagues, Caitlin Collins. So it's to be fair, when this stuff comes out at a conservative work environment, it's worth commenting on in a careful way, just as we do that.
Of course,
so
you're
that's
very
the
fair,
thinking
Robby.
there. Thank you, Briahna. More Rising right after this. Stay with us.